Yeah, we're live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to EML Premier 1. We are here tonight for Season 4, round number 2, I should say, of the Championship, as we take in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from, of course, the Jeddah Corniche circuit. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you through the stream, of course, as always, on a Wednesday night here on League Racing TV. And joining me in the comment box, it is Mr. Alex the G. Alex, how you doing? Definitely so, yeah. It is going to be very interesting to see, of course, how the drivers cope with the trials and the tribulations of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Of course, this fish-shaped track, 6.1 kilometres in length, roughly, and obviously it's going to be a real test for the drivers as well. Looking at the championship standings, we're just going to read that because we haven't got the graphics to go with it either. Team Chazoo lead the way on 55 points after a stunning 1-2 finish, of course, in Bahrain. FVR in second on 32, with ET8 in third on 29, NLR fourth on 20, Relentless in fifth, more about them in a second, on 17, along with Trust Esports there in sixth on 17, Virtual Insanity in seventh on 12, TTG Esports in eighth on 11, and then FRL and GSP in ninth and 10th on 10 points. And Chazoo obviously leading the way in the championship so far in terms of the team standings, that's for sure, Alex. FVR close on their heels, but that team that I mentioned there in fifth, Relentless, actually not racing tonight. Oh, apparently you're on mute. Just had a message off Maze saying you're on mute, which is terrible. Oh. Right, hopefully... Can we hear Alex? Let's have a go through. Well, we've got 20 seconds to go anyways until qualifying does begin. Can we hear Alex now? I hope so. Just speak. Let's have a listen. Hang on. I'm listening on my end.
Oh, I think now we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear yourself? I hope so.
It should be good now because I have set it up to be this way. I forgot something in the settings. PS5 things.
Terrible, terrible. Hopefully we can hear though, Alex. Hopefully we can hear Alex, and hopefully, of course, we are going to get racing out on track very soon indeed. If not, you're just going to have to put up with me for the next hour and a half or so if we can't hear Alex, which I guess is not too bad for you guys, of course, out on track. And speaking of being out on track as well, let's have a look then at the driver lineup that we do have, of course, for tonight, because there is a very interesting pairing, of course, from the OP guys, as you've already mentioned, in Robbie and in Kian, who are both racing, of course, for the Outplayed Racing team. There was the reserve team, of course, here in EML. And looking through the driver lineup, I cannot find the driver lineup. There we go. I can now find the driver lineup. Marlon and Daniel in for VIR, with Zero and Chris in for GSP. Marcus Costa and Mateo, or Bass Raymond now replacing Mateo, in for ET8. Fiery Hour and Benny in for TTG. OP represent, as I say, both Robbie and Kian. Marine and Kintex there in operation for the FVR team. Rick and Rowan in for the AlphaTauris, of course, of Shazoo. Sapala and Urpek in from NLR. Interesting signing with Urpek there for NLR, of course, formerly of ET8. Phoenix and Sadu there in for FRL, and Fezzo and Yozzy in for TRS. And looking at that driver lineup, Alex, we have got the first cars now coming out on track as well. That driver lineup, I've got to be honest, it's pretty open compared to last week.
Yeah, there's a lot of new faces, in fact, on this grid. And I've just been told, by the way, in chat that you can indeed hear me, so I am back. And yeah, certainly, there is a lot of drivers on this grid now, which certainly are going to be some to look out for. I'm personally looking at that NLR lineup and thinking this is something that we completely haven't seen at all. With Urpek, of course, it's one of the first races back for him, I believe, for our team. While Sipala, of course, last season has managed some brilliant efforts for the LFR or SR team in that Haas car. So certainly very interesting times. There's also so many high-quality drivers on the grid. Shazoo Rowan, one of them, who has recently won the PSGL F1 Grand Prix in Spa, I believe it is. And yeah, there's a lot of super quick drivers. We aren't seeing last week's race winner, but realistically, it shouldn't matter too much with the quality of this grid we have tonight.
Yeah, Rowan as well, of course, wrapping up the Season 13 Championship in WOR to add to that as well. I know, I was there as head commentator last season. No longer this season, but the less we draw on that, the better. Kian, though, is a man that I know very well indeed from PSGL F2. He is going to be the first man then setting on a lap here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. So let's take a ride on board with him. We'll turn the timing tower off on the left-hand side. Trust me, by the end of this lap, we will turn it on as Kian now runs down into the left-hander of turn number 1. 27 corners away to now drivers, of course, out on track with, of course, the 3D rest zone, so plenty of opportunities for overtaking and plenty of opportunities as well to gain speed on the lap as well. As Kino comes out of turn number 2 through 3 and then into the left-hander of turn number 4. Hit the wall on the left-hand side, exactly as he's just done. It forces you off track, and that was perfectly poised there from Kian to hit the wall on the left-hand side. It's a shame because he was looking good up until that point. Through 10 and 11, through the left-hander of turn number 12, then through 13, 32.5 in the first sector is actually not too bad around here, even though we hit the wall quite visibly coming through the left-hander turn number 4, now through the left-hander 13, through 14 with the Corniche Hotel, or the Jumeirah Hotel I should say, on the left-hand side, with the right-hander now at 15, catches the wall again, still valid though from Kian. He is having a real rough and tumble lap though, with the walls getting very close, too close in fact to the walls. He now opens up the second DRS zone on the run in towards turns 22 and 23, of course, where Leclerc famously hit the wall on the left-hand side. Kian avoids that wall, and now comes through turn 24, and then with the Red Sea on the right-hand side, comes through the left-handers of 25, 26, and then in toward the final corner, passing the Jeddah sign on the left-hand side, in towards turn 27. Pretty much a lap then on the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Don't, of course, Max Verstappen famously crashed in qualifying in 2021 around here as well, as Kian now on the run to the line from the OP team, and he will go first, 28.7. However, the Red Bull in behind, which I think was Marlon, is back in the pits.
Yes, he is indeed. I was just on board watching with him, and he had a massive snap, in fact, in the Red Bull, so, like you said, yes, we've got Shazoo Rowan here, underlining Shazoo's ambitions, 27.5 second quicker than Benny, in fact, in second, as he has edged out Kian, but a lot of drivers now to come, but Shazoo 1-2 now, with Shazoo Academy, Rick putting it fastest now, so a big sign here to the rest of the grid. 27.4 banker, really strong.
Yeah, really strong indeed. Sapalo has actually broken his front wing, I think, on the left side end plates. Daniel now goes quick as the VAR man, of course, who has recently signed for VAR, if I'm not mistaken, formerly of SXT. I think they closed down a couple of, about a month ago, I think now SXT closed down. Bas Raymond to the line looking quite quick as well. He goes 6th, 27.6, and actually Marcus Costa there, also for the ET8 team. He's there in third with a 27.461, only 0.6 of a second off Rick's second Rick's second position at this stage in qualifying. Kinsick's invalidated along with Martin, who's actually on the run toward the line now in the FVR team. He's going to run to the line, probably go 8th with this lap, I think, yeah, 28.1, fits right in the middle of Fezzo and Benny, and also improvement there, I think that was from Yozzy, if I'm not mistaken, going 5th in the Haas. In fact, actually, it was Fariawa who came across the line to go 9th. Kian has backed off his lap, Kinsick is on another lap at this stage as well. Pretty much the first run's done. Urpek, though, I think is on a lap, and he's actually looking quite quick in the middle sector.
He is, but yeah, he's got that McLaren in front of him. Not sure what he thinks of that one. He's not looking all too stable here. What is now that is not a good sign here.
Is that Bas Bremer by any chance?
Let me have a look. That is indeed... No, it's in fact Marcus Costa.
Marcus. Yeah, Marcus the first one on. That's a shame, because he was looking quite good. OPEC obviously has got plenty of time in this qualifying session. It's not as if it's 2 minutes to go in the end of qualifying, and then he gets his outlap ruined, and then that absolutely ruins him, of course, for the big lap that will come, obviously, later on in the session. But Urpek, we know his pace. I know his pace, certainly, from the ET8 team last season in the EML. He did very, very strongly for the ET8 team. Of course, now part of the NLR team. Disappointing that he didn't get a lap in, obviously, from your perspective, but it looks like he's going on another run, and has got fuel to do so as well, which is the main thing. It's Daniel Ladd on top, Rick in second, Marcus Costa there in third. Looking at the comment section, by the way, good evening to everyone that is tuning in. 24 of you at the minute that is tuning in, which is good to see. Sapolo saying hi, Lalabelle saying hi as well, Frankie also saying hi, and NLR saying we can hear Alex now, which is the best thing ever. As Daniel leads the way, Rick in second, Marcus Costa in third. Urpek, though, with that 37.2, which is not a valid lap at all from the Williams. He now comes to the right-hander at turn number 9. Bit hesitant, actually, through turn number 9, through 10, and too hesitant because he invalidates.
Yes, indeed. These are just the kind of margins that you're looking here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. One driver on a quick lap now is Marlon, who's saying through his first sector, super committed in that Red Bull car, and the first sector of 31.9. That is really, really quick. Of course, the first lap was pretty strewn with mistakes for the German driver, but now he's looking to put it all right in this second lap. Teammate currently provisional pole with a 27.410. What does Marlon have to answer here? Certainly VIR do have some ambitions, Virtual Insanity Racing, and that is looking extremely committed. And remember, it's just the middle run of the session, so he's going to have one more at the end. And we can pretty much expect this to be even quicker. 1 minute flat 0.1. That is super quick for Marlon. That is really, really impressive. Now this final sector, keep it as close to this inside wall as possible to reduce the distance here into this final. Turn 27, hairpin. Goes out wide shortly after the 100-meter board. He is braking, but that is super late, super committed on the brakes. No step of oversteer this time. That looks like an incredible lap from VIR Marlon, who's now going to cross the line here at Jeddah and the 27-2. I mean, you can see why this man is in PSGL F1. It's a VIR 1-2 and Marlon. Superb lap. And in the middle of the session, there's certainly still more time to find. Incredible.
Fantastic run from Marlon, of course, PSGL, or defending PSGL F3 champion, as you've already alluded to, and still on my line as well, PSGL F1 driver at this stage as well, and Marlon there, obviously out on top, 27.2. That is a big chasm of a gap. A tenth and a half of a second around here is a big gap to actually try and gain, but there are going to be, you would imagine, more improvements to come further down the field, as I think you have seen something in the middle sector.
Yes, indeed. It's Sapalo who's just come through this very quick chicane and hasn't validated his lap time, which is very unfortunate, of course. No real lap time in for NLR at the moment. 15th and 18th, but there's still a few drivers joining that. We've got Kian, who's still only down at 14th, but we know his potential as he's now heading through that first sector. 31.9 it was from Marlon, 32.1 from Kian. So there is quite some difference. It could be setup related. It could be a bit down to confidence maybe as well in this qualifying session. But I would assume there's a lot of time to find. This man has gone super quick already, as he has demonstrated. And oh my word, that is really committed here in this middle sector. Incredible.
Yeah, this is looking really good from Keane, of course, current PSGL F2 driver. He's up there in the championship as well in PSGL F2, and he's 8.5 tenths up. Doesn't ride the curve nicely, coming through turn 22, through 23 and 24. This is looking quick. Probably not as quick as Marlon and Daniel and Rick, but it's going to put him up there, I would say, between Yossi and Bas Bremer. 27.5, I think we're looking at with this lap. On board with Kian, into the left-hand turn 27. Doesn't want to ride the curb too much on the outside. Can spin the car. It has been proven in the past. There's Kian now on the run line. Might even go second with this lap, actually. He doesn't. And guess where he's went right in between the prediction that I made. Yossi and Bas Bremer, 6th and 8th position. Kian splits the pair. Rowan is 31.8 in the first sector, so very quick first sector from Rowan. The Shazoo man as we ride on board them into the middle sector split. Robbie as well going second, but Rowan is pretty much on par with Marlon in the middle sector.
Let's have a look indeed here. This is looking super quick from Shazoo Rowan. Again, keeping very tight to this wall. It's going to lose you time if you do it otherwise. But into this last corner, do not get this wrong. He gets this apex down super well indeed, and a very good exit from the AlphaTauri man in that Shazoo team. And now across the finish line, it is a 27.295. Look at how tight those top three are together. That's under 2/100ths of a second separating these three. Incredibly close. And wow, I mean, if there's still more drivers who are yet to set a competitive lap, this is going to be extremely close. Erpek, I believe, is one of them, heading through the first sector at the moment, but he's got traffic ahead. Hopefully they do get out of the way. 31.9 first sector, though, is looking really quick so far.
Yeah, big first sector from Erpek. We saw Fiery Hour there go fourth as well. I think Marcus Costa has gone seventh as well, so he's now ahead of Yossi. Bas Bremer now in 10th. He's also on a lap, I think, coming through that middle sector somewhere, but Erpek is coming through the middle sector split. He is now on the run down in towards turns 22 and 23, which obviously is going to be very, very interesting indeed. Erpek now coming through this middle sector split. 1 minute point 2 as he's got an Alpine off to the right-hand side. I think that put him off completely. That was an Alpine, I think, in the wall. Was that Sapala? Did I say, or was it Kian or Robbie? It's one of the two Alpines. It's Robbie or Kian, I think. That was off, and it looked like they lost their front wing as well. So I'm imagining it's Kian, probably just back in the pit lane. It's actually Robbie who was the one out on track, as now Erpek on the run to the line. Actually not backed off and not put off by that lap. He comes to the line, goes 13, but plenty of improvement still to come, even with that mistake to the end of the middle sector.
Indeed, and his teammate now crossing the line to start the lap. Zapala, one driver who we know can be super quick, but now has to get his lap down. It's not much time to go here, so I've got a yellow flag indicator, which unfortunately hides the time left in the session, but that will be disappearing relatively soon. So let's have a look. First sector here from the NLR man. Only 18th, 13th for his teammate, so it's not looking that great for the moment, but certainly still improvements to come, and that is looking very committed. Oh, maybe not quite. He has to. Oh, yeah, he's had to get out of the throttle. 32.0 still, but yeah, the validity of that lap has to be questioned, unfortunately, due to that track extend. But he will have lost some time doing it, but still, the fact that he kept it valid in the first place. Now he's got Erpek ahead of him, so there's a possible slipstream here as he invalidates again. Oh, the Alfa Romeo. Oh my word, that was tight, wasn't it?
I think that was Silu, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I think he just actually improved on a lap, and he rode the curb too much coming in the middle of the track. By the way, Marlon's also on a lap through this middle sector split. He was actually just behind these guys, and he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him, but Marlon, the traffic is out of the way, and it's a 1 minute point 1 in the middle sector, so not too bad at all for Marlon. Rides too much of the curb, nearly has a brown cold moment there from Marlon, nearly in the wall. And luckily, the pole sitter at this stage is first. Daniel is also invalidating on his lap as well in the Red Bull. Fezzo is just preparing up for a lap, so he's out of sync compared to everyone else. And I'm just trying to see if there's anybody else on lap. GSP Chris to the line. TML F1 winner around here, of course, for in round 1. 27.5, not too bad at all from GSP Chris. He goes 11th.
11th indeed, and I mean, compared to his teammate who still has not set a lap, so Zero down in 19th right now on that back row of the grid. He is currently on a fast lap, is the Mercedes driver here for the GSP team. Certainly some good performances, but last time out he did get a bit unlucky around the Bahrain International Circuit, and now let's see his middle sector split is 1 minute 0.3, so it's a solid lap time. It's not going to probably trouble the top 5. But it's still pretty solid. Might put him around his teammate somewhere in that area. But look at how tight this all is. It's 3/10 separating the top 10 so far. And in fact, top 11. So now coming across this final corner and now crossing the DRS line. The final finish line is now going to come up to him very shortly. F10 puts his car up to 13th. And yeah, he's not even half a second off, but it puts him down in 13th. That's how close this grid is and how fast this track really is. Super close gaps. And right now, in fact, there doesn't seem to be anybody on a half lap.
Kian's on a lap. He's coming through the left-hand with turn 11 on the run through the middle of the first sector split. 31.8 in the first sector. Purple out of everyone in that first sector from the OP man. And he's got history around here because I think he won in PSGL F2, if I'm not mistaken. The last time he came here, he won. So Kian has got very good form. OP, do not count them out. Robbie's there in second at this moment in time. Only 1300ths of a second of Marlon. But Kian now in towards this middle sector split. Coming through in towards 22 and 23. Slight tap the wall on the right-hand side. But it's a 1 minute dead. 3/10 up in the middle sector. It's a huge middle sector from Kian. Theoretically, though, he still needs to gain 100th of a second to go quicker than Marlon. He has not done this just yet as Kian now comes in toward the left-hander of 26. In through now into the braking zone at the 50-metre board. Turns the car in. Rotates the car very nicely through the final corner. On the run to the line now with Kian. On the run. It's a huge lap from Kian. Where's it going to go? He will go... Paul, just about by 9,000ths of a second, and what I think struck me was the pure exit at the final corner. That's what gained him the extra 100th.
That was an incredibly committed lap from Kian, and yeah, deservedly sits on pole position. But now we've got all the drivers peeling out of that pit lane. I believe the first two are the ET8 drivers from in that McLaren, Bas Bremer and Marcus Costa, with the latter leading the way. And well, if these gaps are anything to go by, it's going to be extremely close, and there's still a lot of top drivers who have not set properly good lap times, and therefore will probably trouble those top positions. And certainly the ones who are just behind Kian right now are going to be looking to do the same, with Marlon 9,000ths behind, another 13,000ths behind that. We've got OP Robbie, another 5,000ths behind that. We have Shizou Rowan. But now it's Marcus Costa who's starting out the final runs of this session. This is going to be so exciting.
And I'm just going to make a bold prediction now. I bet you Rowan's on pole by the end of this as well. That's all I'm going to say. Marcus Costa on the run down in towards turn number 1. 27.4. Currently his best, of course. The former TTG man, I think. He's now part of the ET8 team, of course. Marcus Costa into the left-hander of turn number 4. Nicely negotiated through the right-hander of turn number 5 into the left-hander of turn number 6. We will keep an eye on everyone, or I will try and keep an eye on everyone on the mini-map as much as possible. Marcus Costa now coming through. Left-hander of turn number 9 and 10. He's turned it too much, and it's a bit like Mick Schumacher crashing through the left-hander there of turn 11. He got caught on the curb too much. Marcus Costa in the wall. Bas Bremer is following up as well, and he's also invalidated in the first sector, and he is done as well.
Yes, indeed. It was a mistake from him. He's got Trust Fizo there, setting a super quick first sector. A 31.8 from the Trust Esports man. He's going to be the first one to cross the line. And that is something we might not have expected to see. 31.8, superb first sector. And now through this middle section. Oh, he goes straight there. Doesn't invalidate, but yeah, he has to abort that lap. So his teammate, yeah, Yossi will be next now. So let's have a look at his middle sector split. There's certainly going to be some big laps. There's a VIR driver spun around as well in the first sector.
It is, and I wonder who that might be. Is that Marlon? No, Marlon hasn't started his lap. In fact, actually, I think it is Marlon. It is Marlon, I think. Looking at it, Daniel's through the first sector. It is Marlon. So Marlon has actually broken his front wing and crashed coming through the first sector. There he is with no front wing. In there in second position. Robbie's through the middle sector split. Oh, he's about to come up toward this middle sector split. He's going to be one of the first actually on a valid lap to set a lap. And it's a 1 minute 1 in the middle sector. But he's got traffic coming through 22 and 23. And he invalidates for good measure. And he's nearly in the wall. Just about keeps it out of the wall. The Alpine does well there. Rowan through the middle sector as well. He is absolutely flying on this lap. I don't know what his middle sector split is, but he is definitely going close to Kian, if not trying to trump him here, coming into towards the final corner from the Shizou boys. It's Kian out on top. It's Marlon in second. Robbie in third. Those guys are done. It's now Rowan. All up to him. The Shizou man on the run to the line. Is he going to go quicker? No, he doesn't! Ooh. And he sets the same lap time as Robbie. Absolutely mad. Robbie invalidates through the middle sector. Rick is on the run to the line as well. The Shizou Academy man, he's on the run to the line. Maybe to improve. He does improve. He goes 6th. Not bad at all. GSP Chris is 2/10 down. Have a feeling that is pretty much it. Benny and Phoenix from Valid as well. No improvement there from Chris either as well. But Kian out on top. Marlon in second. Robbie in third. Rowan in fourth. Literally split by a hair's breadth between them both. But Kian is the one out on top. Marlon is the one in second. Robbie is third. And if you listen to my prediction, this is why I don't predict too often.
I mean, yes, I would agree with that one. I would honestly go nowhere with these predictions for myself. But Kian on pole for the reserve team Outplayed Racing. Marlon in second. So many mistakes were made on these final runs, which is a shame, of course. We'd love to see the maximum pace of all these drivers. But in the end, you can't have everything really, so still, it's looking like a pretty mixed up grid, in fact, and certainly the lineup of FVR and, in fact, NLR, like last season's title battle, of course, was. We've got 11th and 17th for FVR, we've got 16th and 19th for NLR. This is, this is a completely opposite world to what we had last season. It's crazy to see, really.
It is, and I think it just highlights as well how far everyone has come within the league racing community, within teams as well, and it is fantastic to witness. Kian out on top, the PSGL F2 man, beating the PSGL F1 man in Marlon in second, Robbie there in third, with Rowan the PSGL F1 man, recent race winner of course there in fourth, Fiery Hour there in fifth, the TTG man from Rick in sixth, the Academy driver for Shazoo, Daniel in seventh, the Aussie in eighth, Marcus Costa in ninth for ET8, and Fezzo ran off the top 10 for the TRS team. Kintex in 11th with Chris in 12th, Bass Bramer 13th, Silu 14th, we got 4 tenths per second covering the top 14, Zero 15th, Urpex 16th, Martin in 17th, or Marine, I could call him as well, 5 tenths per second covering the top 17. Benny really didn't get a bad lap time there in the end. M. Sapala and Phoenix both invalidated in both of their runs as well, so they are down at the back of the field. So that man there, out on top of course, is Mr. Kian, Marlon in second, Robbie there in third. It sets us very nicely for what's to come in the next 45 seconds or so.
I mean, an absolutely incredible and super tight grid, of course, here at Jeddah, and the racing spectacle around here is going to be incredible, and I know that already because, well, we've all gone from past experience, haven't we? It's going to be an incredible race, I believe. If last time out is anything to go by, we're going to have an absolute cracker today, and I don't want to make any predictions on this, honestly, because it could go anybody's way. I think almost anybody on this grid could face the race victory in the end. So, I can't wait to get this started. This is what we're here for.
It is, and Phoenix has left the session. Luckily, he's starting at the back of the field, so I don't think it's going to have a real knock-on effect unless there is a glitch within the lobby, which there isn't because the 30-second countdown is on. So I wonder if Phoenix has had a bit of a disconnect there from the FRL's perspective. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in though, and if he does get back in, obviously he is only starting at the back of the field, which I think is good from his perspective, and obviously doesn't want to disrupt anyone else ahead of him either. And you never know, with crashes around here, he might end up in like 10th position at the end of lap 1. His AI might just do the business out on track as well. I'm also not going to predict the top 3 here tonight as well, because I just think it's going to be too close. 5 red lights now coming on here for EML Premier 1. It's round 2 of the championship here in Jeddah. And it is lights out and away we go, and Keane gets a very good start. Mullen alongside him, and Robbie actually gets the better start out of the 3, and he will try and pull alongside onto Mullen towards turn 1. Mullen though on the inside line of Keane tries to get the up and under, coming through the right-hander of turn number 2, tries to get the job done, and he might have just got the job done. Mullen there on the inside line is ahead of Keane into the braking zone at turn number 4. Mullen leads the way, Keane in second, Robbie in third, Rowan there in fourth. The front 4 stay as they are. Urpex had a collision, actually not a collision further down the field. He's trading places with Zero. Everyone has actually cleaned through the first sector so far. Mullen leads the way, Keane there in second, Robbie there in third, OP currently second and third, Rowan and Rick are 4th and 5th for Shazoo as well, but Mullen with an absolute electric start off the line. That second phase of the start was crucial, and he leads the way coming to the first half of the lap.
Brilliant launch indeed from the Red Bull man. Virtual Insanity Racing have that car in the lead, but now it's going to be a lot of action in this middle sector. Of course, we've just had Yossi overtake Fiery Hour here for P6, so a very good getaway from him as well. 2 places up from him, but indeed, as you said, nobody getting tangled up in anything as it seems, and therefore a clean start from everybody. It's got VIR Daniel, oof, having a look at Fiery Hour as well. But can't make anything works. That is a slight rear end loss from the Aston Martin. We have to look out for these ones. And everybody cleaned through.
Here's Daniel.
Daniel
around the outside of Fiery Hour is going to try and get the job done on the outside line. Fiery Hour is going to stick the Aston Martin's nose in through the left-hander of the final corner, but he's fully ahead, Daniel, and he's going to get outdone as well by Fezzo on the outside line, and Fezzo is going to join in this as well for the Trust Esports team. Fiery Hour on the inside line for TTG, trying to get the job done down the inside line, but I can't think he's going to defend, and actually he defends too much because Fezzo pulls out on Daniel, tries to get the job done on him. In the end, it's reactionary timing there from Fiery Hour. It's getting a bit fiery out on track between these two. Fezzle there in 8th, Fiery Hour there in 9th, and Fezzle there still hangs on. I wonder if Fiery Hour, though, has got a bit of an unnecessary setup on the car, because he has lost a lot of positions off the race start. He's lost 4 already, and he's now in the clutches of Marcus Costa.
Yes, indeed, and it's already below, towards the lower end of the top 10. This could be maybe more of a qualifying setup, which he could be struggling with in that race. He was thinking possibly to go and just go with the racing flows. We've got a Ferrari there. Ooh, alongside Siliu, but nothing to make work here for Kintex in this middle sector so far. Yeah, certainly the setup differences are going to matter a lot, because you can go super low wings. You're going to struggle so much in the first sector, but nobody's going to overtake you on the straight. So there's so many options to go with. But one thing we haven't touched upon yet is the strategy, because in fact everybody is on the hards. So that's pretty much done already. We've got everybody on the hard compound tires, so hard medium looks very likely in this race. Well, unless there is any kind of intervention from a safety car. So we got Kintex now indeed making that overtake on Siliu. Still some defense put up from the FRO man, and so far he still keeps ahead, but the Ferrari stays alongside, now outdrags him in the run to turn 1. So P12 now for the FDR driver as he moves ahead of Siliu.
And Erpek's going down the inside on a Bas Kramer. These two formerly in the same team, and Bas Kramer absolutely lunges it. He had to do that though, because Erpek was on the inside line of him. Siliu picks up the 3-second penalty. FRO as Erpek's in the wall. Gets left side end plate damage, I think, and now Zero's got to be very careful in behind. He is very careful in behind. I think Erpek just scraped the wall. Got away with it though for the NLR team. Of course, the former ET8 man against, of course, Bas Kramer, who is a part of ET8. These guys formerly liked each other. I don't think they'll be liking each other now after that dive bomb.
Yeah, it's certainly some stuff going on here that we maybe wouldn't like to see, but this is just what happens here sometimes, particularly in Jeddah. You have to make up so much time. But this is currently just a massive DRS
Martin
trade,
side by side with Zero. Sorry to cut you off, is still side by side with him, coming through 13, 14, 15, in towards 16 and 17, and Zero's round got spun and got tagged, I think, by himself rather than anything else. Martin was on the outside line, too wide into that corner, really doesn't work. Erpek there in 15th is lucky, and now actually Martin's going to go for the move. The FEO man on the inside line tries to get the job done, but further ahead, Robbie's right on the back of Kian, and here comes Kian for the race lead. Marlins are sitting duck towards turn 27 to the outside line. Goes the OP man, the PSGL F2 man, tries to outdo the PSGL F1 man, and he does. Round the outside, Kian is through, he's into the lead of the race. Marlon there in second, but Marlon crucially has DRS. He's going to come back down the straight and gets the fastest lap along with Rowan, who sets the fastest lap of the race, but it's too wide in towards turn number 1. Kian so late on the brakes, just about gets the car stopped and just about holds the lead.
Oh, it's a big snap of oversteer there on the exit for Robbie, and that puts him under pressure from Rowan, but Rowan is smart. He doesn't put the car down the inside here of the Alpine. But wow, this is the kind of stuff we're here for, and oh my word, this is going to be so tight. And yeah, this is right now is a DRS train down from first, all the way to 13th.
Marlon has a huge mistake. Sorry to cut you off. He had a huge snap of oversteer coming out of turn 11 that, unfortunately, the graphics blocked it. But that was a sensational recovery from Marlon. Just about keeps it in second. Robbie there in third. He can tell my voice is already going, by the way. I haven't got a drink alongside me either, but we're going to carry on. Kian leads the way. Marlon in second, Robbie in third. Rowan there in fourth, and Marlon is under all sorts of pressure from the OP man and behind. And do you know what? The OP man, I think, has got the quicker strategy. He's closing in down the straight, trying to get the move done in towards turn 22. But this is probably the time and place where it might happen. Robbie, right on the back of Marlon, straight on that DRS. He's got the advantage on that ERS as well, but is he going to get the move done? He's closing in, drawing ever closer to the back. He could lunge it down the inside line. He's not, but Yossi's going to try and lunge it down the outside line as now Fezzo actually can't even get my words out. Dives it down the inside line, gets the job done. He's in 7th. Phoenix has rejoined, and now Yossi's on the back of Rick again. Robbie's on the back of Marlon, and I can't keep up.
Oh, look at Yossi now, to the inside, into turn 1, turns now to the outside for turn 2, they still keep it side by side, oh, super tight stuff, but for the moment, Rick keeps it ahead, Daniel is well there, side by side with Fezzo, this is going to be so tight, who's going to back out of this one? Oh my, oh, Fezzo has to go off the road there, Daniel is still there on his inside, how is this working out? And Daniel's ahead, that is crazy.
And Fiery, I was just probably sitting watching, wiping his hands at this point, because that was absolutely sensational. Yes, they were off track, but they had no alternative. Literally, the race limits or the track on the right-hand side where they went. And Daniel just about stays ahead of Fezzo, who actually tried to get the switchback out of turn number 2. And to be fair, they went from pretty much turn 4 all the way towards turn number 7. That was a huge voice crack, by the way. All the way to turn 7. in side-by-side action that I've never seen around here, and Fiery Hour makes a mistake as well in the background, and that's Marcus Costa through, and he's got more ERS at this point. Marlon also got more ERS on Kian, and he's going to try and come for the race lead.
Yes, indeed. Marlon is coming indeed here for the race lead on Kian, but what is he going to do? He's the only driver up there. OP have crucially got 2 cars in this top 3, with Marlon having no support, unfortunately, at the moment. We've got Kintex there at the back. Oh, going for it on Fiery Hour.
And here's Rowan.
The position.
Rowan on the back of Robbie. Robbie had a huge mistake coming out the final corner, and Rowan laps that one up. The PSG left one man. Has to dive it to the inside line. I think there was a bit of desync, actually, which forced him onto the other side of the track. If not, that was Rowan just coming across. Rick's nearly in the wall in the background as well. I can't keep up. Kian leads the way. Marlon second. Rowan in third. Robbie in fourth. I'm probably going to have a heart attack in this race, but I don't care.
I mean, well, who isn't? Honestly, who isn't at this stage? There's so much to keep an eye on. And the top 6 currently seem to have broken away from the other 2 at the back. Just got up to Fezzo. Oh my. Massive snap of oversteer there on the exit of turn 11. Yeah, this top 6 seems to have separated a little bit from the guys behind due to that side-by-side battle between Fezzo and Daniel. But certainly that means just more action, as there's now 2 drivers, if you will, in front of 2 DRS trains who are now very vulnerable to whoever is behind. Right now that is Daniel, who is certainly eyeing a move on Fezzo whenever he can. And of course, that big battle for the race leaders. Look at how close Marlon is here on the exit of 24. This is going to be really, really tight again. Turn 27, the big braking zone. Of course, the overtaking area, but Marlon doesn't open DRS until pretty late down the straight, so he is tacticking here. He wants to save some ERS and then go for it when it's the real time. So a lot of tactics involved here already, and there's still 19 laps to go.
Robbie has a mistake coming out the final corner as well. Robbed with the right-hand side wall, and Rick's on the inside line of the Subaru Academy man as Marlon goes for the race lead in the foreground of shot as well to the inside line of turn number 1. In the end, Robbie outbreaks himself in towards turn number 1. No contact there. Robbie just about rejoins track. He loses 2 positions for the price of 1. Marlon still side by side with Keaton for the race lead as well. Can't get the job done. Keaton still leads. Marlon in second. Rowan in third. PSGL PCF1 who?
This is going to be so good, and it's only lap 7. Our voices are going to be gone by the end of this. I know that already, but do we care? I don't think we do. This is what we're coming for on this League Racing TV channel, and Esports Masters League, it always delivers, as you can see also today, and we are going to keep this up for the rest of the season. I'm guaranteeing that already. We've got no retirements either, so it's the full dose of racing from all these 20 drivers. And slight loss of rear end there, but I don't think that'll have lost him too much time. But now it's going to be all about that ERS saving, which is going to bring all those drivers into play. Erpek there at the back sets the fastest lap. It's a really sad day so far for last season's runners-up, NLR.
Yeah, NLR not doing a good job there. Sapola in 19th, Erpek there in 20th. They need a miracle in the form of a safety car, I think, in this race as Yossi. Marlon actually pulls to the inside line. Keane grants him that, and that is a bit of a tactical decision there from the OP man. I wonder if he's got one eye, maybe on the pit lane in a couple of laps' time, but Marlon leads the way. Keane in second, Rowan there in third, and Rowan, do not count him out in terms of this race battle as well. And Keane gets a DRS, absolutely sails on by, down the straight in towards turn number 1. Keane leads once again. Marlon in second, Rowan there in third, Yossi there in fourth. Tater, I think, by the way, in the comment section has said, comms keep falling to the floor. Yes, we do indeed. I'm literally hanging off my bed, possibly on the floor, in about a few laps' time if this continues. Keane leads the way. Marlon in second, Rowan in third, Yossi in fourth, Rick in fifth, Robbie there in sixth. 3-second penalty so far, by the way, just to keep on track. Robbie, Sidley and Martin have all picked up 3 seconds worth of penalties, and that is your penalties rundown at this stage on lap 8 out of 25, a third of the way through here in Jeddah.
Yeah, I feel like there could still be quite a few more penalties coming into play on this circuit. It's super tight and super difficult to keep those out of the way. But I think one driver to really point out is so far is Yossi. He's picked up some brilliant opportunism and has made some great moves to go from 8th all the way up to 4th in just these 8 laps. And overtaking Shizou Academy's Rick on that last lap into turn 27. He's still in that DRS train, firmly asserting himself here behind these 3 big guns, and maybe Trust Esport are looking for a really good result too with Bezo as well up in P8. So it's looking like a really good day for the ones in that Haas car. Now I've got OP Robbie possibly eyeing a move on Shazoo Rick, but can't make anything work just yet. However, that is slightly more ERS at play for Robbie, but a very slightly rear end to go with that.
Kintix and Faria were side by side as well in the background. This is for P10 and P11 at this stage. Of course, big points all coming for these guys in the top 10. Faria, though, is through on Kintix to the inside, to the outside line in towards turn number 1. Breezes past him, and Faria for TTG is through and he's into 10. Doing better than Benny there, down in 17th. He's getting a position though, was Benny. Faria would drop 5 positions off the race start just purely because of a lack of pace on that compound tyre. He's now beginning to pick up his pace in the second half of this race, which is good, or the second half of this stint, I should say. And then, of course, we've got the whole situation of what do the drivers go on? Do they go medium compound tyres? Do they go sort of softs? Now, my reckoning around here, I think we'll begin to see pit stops in the next 3 laps as Yossi gets caught on the inside curb through 13, gets flung out wide there, with Rick catching him all the way in towards 16 and 17. But, to come back to the strategy, everyone on a sort of hard compound tyres. Now, I've seen a certain Kazizzle for the Shazoo team around here before, and he put it in lap 9 out of 25. We are on lap 9 out of 25. Pit stops, in my eyes, are only 2 or 3 laps away for possibly the front runners.
I agree with that, actually. I've made that strategy work myself. Of course, basing off my own experience, I have pitted on lap 10 before, which is still one of the later stops for medium tyres, if you will. But that is still definitely a strategy that can work. The tyres will be pretty poor towards the end of the race, but they will last, and that is the crucial thing. So the fact that we've got no medium starters, of course, opens up all this opportunity on the strategic front. As now, at the moment, we have slightly pulled apart field in regards to the DRS trains. But remember, just a few laps back, when we had this brilliant battle between Daniel and Fezzo, all these guys are now back in the DRS train. So the top 13 are now back within a second of each other, and isn't that just amazing to see? So, yeah, it's still a lot of action yet to serve in this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. 10 laps down, and still another 15 to go. As at the back, they've got Phoenix moving past TTG Benny for 17th. And thankfully there is still some points on offer for these positions, so they're not fighting for nothing here, unlike you would be in real F1. Therefore, every position is worth fighting for, and these drivers up and down the field are showing it constantly throughout the entirety of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix so far. There's still much more to come.
Yeah, it might only be for 3, 2 and 1 points at the back of the field, but Erpek obviously is drawing the short straw at this stage. He's getting the team absolutely 0 points at this stage. NLR will only pick up 1 point as it stands as well with our point system that we do have. Wish I had the graphic on me to show you, but I can promise you 25 for the win, 22 for second, 20 for third if I'm not mistaken. That goes all the way down in 2-point increments to 5th, which is I think 15, and then it goes all the way down to 19th position, which gets 1 point. That is from memory, so I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, somebody can put it in the comment section and just back me up on that. But Kian leads the way, Morland in second, Rowan there in third, lap 11 out of 25, and a bit of a squirrel in the background. I think that was for Marcus Costa in the background, in 9th position. Fariawa there in 10th, everyone running in the DRS train right now, which gives me a good time actually to look at the comment section, see how you guys are doing. Lelabelle saying, come on OP, and May saying I'm wrong. Typical. I think it's 30 for the win, 25 for second, 20 for third, I hope.
We believe it is, yes.
I'm gonna
30
check.
Points seems very valid, yeah. As we've got the first pit stops, in fact, at the back. OP Kian, 3-second penalty.
Yeah.
So this is going to throw a spanner in the works for sure. Now, both Outplayed Racing drivers have a time penalty. I'm not too sure about the legitimacy for Robbie's, but Kian, I believe that seems pretty legit because I have not seen him go off track really. Well, that's obviously, or that blatantly. So that does look like a pretty legitimate 3-second penalty. And that is going to make it extremely difficult now for the Outplayed Racing team to pick up big points. But even still, he has to keep this up. He has to keep his rhythm up. Doesn't have too much ERS, but that is to be expected when you are in the lead of such a long Grand Prix. And with so many straights having to defend, it's always going to be really ERS consuming. Marlon, I believe, is going to be rubbing his hands here with almost 80% ERS. Compared to Kian's just 25 or so. So certainly not the best situation for Kian to be in right now. He's going to have to really look at this tactically and see where he goes with the strategy. You said, of course, pit stops might be happening soon, and Kian is following suit. Kian is now into the pit lane, the first of the leading pack into the pits. and that would be for a set of medium tyres to go and carry the last 14 laps.
Yeah, and this is perfect because the undercut around here is very potent. It's something like 1.5 seconds when the tyres get up to temperature, so Kian will have this advantage. What does Marlon and Rowan do? If they continue on 2 or 3 more laps, they are going to have fresher tyres to the end, so then Kian will be in a full centre. Actually, Kian is side by side with Zero coming out the pit lane, and is he just about going to get ahead of him? I hope he is. Ooh. And he is. Kian is just ahead of Zero in towards turn number 4, and the OP man is ahead there of the Mercedes man for GSP, of course, is Zero. Zero, though, is on quicker tyres at this stage, even though Kian is on 11 lap fresher tyres. Zero's, of course, are warmed up, and he is keeping up very nicely indeed. But the gap from the leader to Kian, 18.2 seconds. Make a note of that, 18.2 seconds, halfway through lap 12, and Robbie is looking very close indeed on the back of Rick in all of this as well. But the main protagonists are Marlon and Rowan, it seems, for the race win, along with Kian. But with that Kian 3-second penalty, everything is still up in arms, and everything is going to be decided in the second half of the race, as Robbie is going to try and decide to go for the move down the straight. In fact, though, Fezzo was going to go for the move around the outside of Daniel in the background of shot. Now on the foreground in towards turn 27, gets the job done. Daniel backs out, and I think he might be having one eye in the pit lane as Marlon is in. Rowan stays out. Yossi stays out along with Rick. Robbie also stays out as well. So these guys are clearly going and clearly banking on Kian's mediums not going to play. And my final point on that as well is Shazoo Tom in TML F1 around here did 16 laps in a set of mediums, and he ended up getting a puncture.
That is also the possibility. That's the risk you have to take when you are going to a set of mediums this soon. They are not supposed to be going this long, but now the drivers will have to push super hard on those hard compound tyres to make this work. So we got Shazoo Rowan using up a lot of ERS. Martin now sets the fastest lap, immediately eclipsed by Bas Bremer on new mediums. So that's the kind of lap times you are expecting. But the tyre wear will come into play for those who are pitting early on. As now I think I can change actually my detail as well to the tyres, because now the selection is going to be really, really interesting. Marlon has come out in brilliantly clear air, but look at Kian, super close. Marlon is indeed ahead of Kian, but now it's about trying to get away from that range. Kian is putting him under a lot of pressure here. P9 and P10 this is right now, but we know what that is going to become once everybody ahead peels into the pit lane. Rowan has pulled 1 second.
Yeah, he's in.
From Yossi behind, so that looks like a pit stop definitely for Yossi. And Rowan, of course, as well. But, yeah, both of them low on ERS. Rowan has pushed out all of it, so he is looking for that race lead at the moment in time. So, once he gets into the lead, he will probably stay there. And he is indeed in, yes.
Kian to the inside on a Marlon in towards turn 27. In the end, Kian doesn't want to be fancied by the move. Ooh. He'll pick up the DRS as well. Rowan into the pit lane. Robbie in. Fezzo in. Daniel in. Chris in. And Silu in. Kian passing Marlon down the straight, tries to get the job done down the straight in towards turn 1, and he does indeed. Kian absolutely blasts past him in towards turn 1. Where is Rowan? Rowan's on the inside line, and he's coming out right side by side with Marlon, coming out the pit lane. Actually tries to get Kian on the switchback, but he's ahead of Marlon, which is very interesting indeed, and he's on fresher tyres compared to Kian. Perfect, I think, from the Shazoo perspective. Perfect as well from the VAR perspective. And even more perfect, Zero stayed out, and Robbie 2.5 seconds behind all of a sudden.
Oh, that is very, very crucial. Robbie has really lost out with this so far. He's gotten wide there as well, and he's got Marcus Costa on warm tyres all over his back. So this is going to be super interesting. So where Robbie will feed out in all of this. But yeah, this entire pack now that we've seen so close together will now get slightly pulled apart. Of course, with that pit stop phase happening, Yossi and Rick are the only two now at the front, along with Zero, of course, yet to make a pit stop. But yeah, Rowan is really trying to stay in that DRS of Kian, in fact, but he isn't going to make it. It's so close as Robbie now gets past Zero on the run down to 22. That'll be a crucial overtake, and Marcus Costa will have to follow suit very shortly. I think Rowan has just about made it there.
He has. Fezzo's catching as well on the back of these guys. Yossi, his teammate, is into the pit lane. Rick also into the pit lane as well. And Marcus Costa is ahead of Zavo, and Fezzo, oh my god, how on earth he hasn't got into the back there of the Mercedes, I do not know. That was close on the brakes. Shooty Zavo's in the pits, yes he is, and Fezzo's actually got a really good run on the back of Marcus Costa down in towards turn number 1. He's not going to be close enough though, as Yossi, Rick come in the pit lane, Yossi out of the pit lane, and look where he is, he's ahead of Robbie, and Robbie's actually side by side with Rick coming out of the pit lane as well. The Academy man, oh, just gets leaned on slightly in towards turn number 2, and now coming out of 4, it is Robbie just about ahead. Rick there in 6th, and now he's holding up Marcus Costa. An absolute treat, and he's not going to go around the outside of turn number 7, because that would be absolutely impossible, and quite frankly, suicidal around here at Jeddah. Marcus Costa, though, gotta be patient, gotta wait his turn, and in the end he has to wait his turn. But what is good for him, though, Rick has managed to stay within a second of Robbie, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Yes, indeed. It's certainly really close now. The top 3 are pretty much gone now from the rest of the pack. You've got Kian, Rowan and Marlon, who are 3 seconds ahead of the next car, which is Yossi, who's still having to warm up his tyres, meaning that Robbie is right on the back of that Haas. But he has been low on ERS for pretty much the entirety of this race. And now Yossi is trying to stay ahead, but I don't think it's going to be much of a mission for him to be able to do that. Oh, he goes really wide there. Side by side, Robbie is ahead. But that is not the way I think Yossi would have liked to make that turn. At least now he picks up the DRS of Robbie.
Oh, Marlon side by side! Sorry to cut you off, Marlon side by side with Rowan into the final corner. Just about tries to get around the outside. In the end, doesn't work. And Rowan all of a sudden is now on the back of Kean for the race lead. Kean having to use a DRS to try and defend. Down and towards turn 1. He does. Kean leads the way. Rowan in second, Marlon in third. And now round 3 between these guys, because Rick, Yossi and Robbie side by side heading towards turn number 1. And Robbie just about comes out on top. Yossi in 5th, Rick in 6th. Yossi looking like Ozzy Osbourne at the straight. All hop on board the crazy train as Chris is through on Daniel.
That was a very nice move there from Chris. To the inside, turned to the outside, but he drove just clean around the outside of Daniel. And now up to P11. But this leading trio is going to give us some incredible action for these last 10 laps.
Gets a beautiful switchback coming out of turn 11. Sorry to cut you off again. There's so much going on. Yossi to the inside line. Had a mistake out of turn 11. And now Rick's going to have to do it all the way around the outside. This would be impossible. But he gets the move done on the traction. Brilliant from the Academy man. Academy who? Rick through and he's into 5th position. Yossi there in 6th. And Marcus Costa now is in the battle as well. As I say, hop aboard the crazy train. Yossi Osbourne there in 6th is doing a fantastic job for TRS.
Yes, he is a massive job right now, but look at Academy Rick there. Shazoo has lost the DRS right now, I believe, to Robbie, which could well be crucial in this, as Yossi is now coming back, and look at the overspeed he's got. That was a very easy move there, and Marcus Costa looking at the back there of that AlphaTauri. That red light is flashing, so certainly he'll be eyeing a move pretty soon. 40% DRS for the McLaren man, but I think, yeah, it's Shazoo Academy Rick here. He might well be looking at a move. In fact, Yossi has made it back in the DRS due to using his overtake mode into turn 27. And he is back in range now with Robbie. Now has to keep it there. As VIR Daniel, another 3-second penalty. I believe you'll see more drivers falling foul of these track limits in the closing laps.
Yeah, 3-second penalty so far. Kian obviously with the 3-second penalty out in front, as Rick is still on the back of Yossi here. Robbie there in 4th has got a 3-second penalty. He's beginning to pull away from these guys as well. That might be a little bit dangerous for Kian later on in the race as well, if Robbie is to get onto the back of that train. Rick on the back of Yossi again, not quite close enough. Other 3-second penalties, by the way, are Daniel, Salu and Marine. They're down in 12th, 13th and 14th. Bas Bremer there in 18th position, 3-second penalty. And Rick is still on the back of Yossi, coming through this middle sector, coming through turn 16 and 17, which now faces out to the Red Sea on the right-hand side. Yossi there in 5th, doing a fantastic job. Rick in 6th. Arguably, though, the pace is coming from behind, because here comes Marcus Costa run on the back of Rick. Is he going to risk it in towards turn 22? No. Slight tap there on the AlphaTauri actually misjudges Marcus Costa's line, and now puts him at the absolute pains of Fezzo in behind as well. Fezzo's going to try and come out of nowhere, but Rick has got no pace down the straight. It could be 3 wide into turn 27. Marcus Costa on the outside line. Fezzo might risk it to the inside line. He backs out though, and Marcus Costa still tries to go all the way around the outside. In the end though, Rick gets a phenomenal run out the final corner. He's now got to run on Yossi, and Yossi is now having to defend off Rick all of a sudden. Marcus Costa having to defend off Fezzo. I don't know what's going on. Yossi and Rick 5th and 6th. Marcus Costa 7th and 8th. Side by side they go towards turn 1. Absolutely fantastic racing. Yes, there's a 3-second penalty there, but this is just crazy.
Oh my word.
Oh my
How
God.
are you supposed to commentate on this?
Marcus Costa tries to go around the outside of both of them, coming through 10-4. And Rick, Yossi, it's getting a bit pedantic. They've got to calm it down.
Oh my word. Oh, look at Fezzo! Oh my word, that oversteer there in the middle of the turn. He tried to make that switchback, couldn't make it work due to an oversteer moment, but Rick is still very much on the back of Yossi. How are you? Oh my word, this is so incredible.
No,
We're to the outside now. I feel like, oh, that was
brilliant.
clean. And oh my, yeah, we've got Fezzo coming behind as well. So none of this is ever going to be over.
He's still
once
side by
the
side
second
with
flag
him.
falls. Oh my God. There's no more reactions coming. This is incredible scenes.
We are losing our mind in the commentary box, but when you lose your mind like this, you know it's a good race, and hopefully it stays this way as well. As Fezzo comes out of a cannon to the inside line at 23, gets the job done. That is remarkable. Fezzo through, switchback, and Yossi now getting the move done. Marcus Costa involved in this as well. Oh my God, my voice is going to go. Kian leads the way, Rowan in second, Marlon there in third, Fezzo in fourth, Yossi in fifth, and now Kintex is side by side with Fiery Hour through the final corner as well. Welcome to the Wacky Racers Jeddah style, as Kintex on the back of Fiery Hour tries to get the job done. They're leading each other, Yossi and Rick down in towards turn number one as well. Yossi just about holding on. Rick dives it from a while back. It's getting very, very aggressive in the wall there on the left-hand side. Kintex, I think he got away with it though on the left-hand side. It's getting very aggressive. These guys, if the managers are in the chat, they've got to calm them down.
I mean, this is incredible scenes. This is Kintex there loses out to Fiery Hour in the end in the first sector. Now it seems to have calmed down just slightly enough for us to be able to catch a breather. But at the same time, look at Rick having that run on Yossi. I feel like Yossi might have some kind of car damage because Rick can always try and go to the outside here. And that, that must be some car damage from Yossi. Is Rick can, you can really easily put a car to the outside. Still nothing. As Yossi still manages to defend. He's doing everything here for his teammate Fezzo, who's looking on for a really strong 5th place. But Yossi, he does not seem to have the pace right now. And is just doing everything for the team to hold him up, as that is Rick. Is he going to come down to turn 22? He's not. That is a very smart decision, but yes, that is definitely some team play going on at the Haas garage.
I wish we had more action going on further up the field, to be honest, between the top three. But this is still remarkable. And now Marcus Costa's making it 3 wide round the outside of turn 27, trying to get the job done. This is going to be ending in tears for somebody, and it is in tears. Marcus Costa hemmed in the wall, right side end plate damage. In fact, I think his full front wing has gone. It is indeed. That's a virtual safety car. That was coming, unfortunately. Marcus Costa in the wall, being too audacious, trying to go around the outside. Rick and Yossi as well, too audacious as well with him and under each other as well, sandwiched in. VSC deployed out on track. Kian leads the way, Rowan in second, Mullen in third, and finally we can take a breather.
Indeed, that's honestly all I just did. I needed a quick drink and a breather. That was incredible up till now. I was asking myself, how is there no single safety car or virtual safety car in this, with the racing that we've been putting up all the dangers as well. But it's been really well managed from the drivers so far. This is the first time that we've had a big incident on the track, and I think we might be going underway shortly.
We will indeed. Mark, by the way, saying in the chat, Yossi Goody wanted a crash. Yeah, but up until that point, though, up until that crash, for, I would say, about 80% of it, it was relatively clean. They just got aggressive, and when you get aggressive around this track, Jeddah comes back to bite, and it comes back to bite in a way where it obviously punishes drivers, and that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. If they had more patience, if they had more virtue, I think it could have been avoided. It should have easily been avoided. The VSC, I think, is now ending. I think, but Kian is now, he's now speeding. No, he's actually still in the VSC, I think. It's now Kian actually gets caught out on the safety car VSC restart because Rowan all the back of him, and Kian makes a huge mistake into the final corner. Yeah, he went super wide through the final corner, and now Marlon is within reach as well, but here comes Rowan to the outside line. Perfect start from the Shazoo man. The PSGL F1 race winner last week takes the lead of the race, and there's a yellow flag, and that is Marine, I think, in the wall. Oh, Kintex, sorry.
It is Kintex, in fact, yes. He must have had a spin or some kind of contact in that turn 27. But yeah, that is also a really sad day, I suppose, for the FBR team, 12th and 13th. But even still, we do have to keep an eye on this top 5 fight. Look at Yossi alongside Rick. Will they be... Oh, that is a crash!
That was never going to end well.
That could not have worked. That just couldn't have worked at all. And that is another one who bites the dust here. We've got GSP Chris super close now to the back of that Haas. Yossi's damage is seemingly picking up even more. He's going to the outside line now for turn 13. Can he make the same thing work that Rick has made work before, but now has fallen foul of? Unfortunately, he cannot, and I suppose he'll be biding his time a little bit. Look at Silio behind with some surprising turn of pace here for the FRL team. There could still be something up for grabs with a lot of penalties, in fact, ahead as well. And definitely nothing is decided yet. Just 4 more laps to go, and it's still looking pretty good for Shazoo, isn't it? Rowan in P1. Kian currently second, but with a 3-second penalty. And Marlon looking to pick up the scraps, currently third for BIR.
Yeah, back with Rowan as well. He's actually tried to gap Kian outside of a second on that lap. It didn't work. He's still 7/10 clear of Kian at this stage. Marlon there in third. I'm on board with Siley on the back of Chris on the run up towards turn 27. He's not going to be quite close enough. Absy saying in the chat as well, not cool. I think, and I'm being a little bit biased towards both of them here, I think they got what they deserved, I think, after that battle, because it was too aggressive in the end. It was too aggressive. You've got to give each other room, and the first rule of racing is to give each other room, respect your racing, respect your other drivers out on track. For me, there was little to no respect in the end in terms of that battle between Rick and Yossi. Yossi there in 8th position is still there on Virtue, but he has got that left side unplate damage. You can quite see it visibly there on the Haas. He's still doing a good job though on that wing damage, but obviously if he didn't pick up wing damage, he probably would be a lot closer, as Rowan now has managed to try and gap Kian outside of a second. It's 9/10 of a second. Kian's got Marlon outside of a second as well. This is becoming strong out now here in Jeddah. Rowan leads the way. Kian there in second. Marlon there in third. Ron also saying as well it was a matter of time it would happen. And yeah, that is from, of course, Shazoo Rick's point of view, because Ron is a part of that team.
Yes, of course. It was a bit of an unlucky incident down there. Look at the top 3. Currently no DRS for any of them. As Kian, well, he does just about have it, but the battery of that Alpine is completely drained. 0%. While, well, Rowan also has only 2% himself. But yeah, he's just about going to get in this DRS range, I would say. Or is he?
Yep.
Yes, he is just. But Marlon is out of it. Right now, he does not seem to have a chance at this. But still, 3 laps to go. I think the tyre wear could come in really handy for someone like Rowan. Of course, Rowan is the perfect situation now with the freshest tyres out of the 3 and in the lead. It's looking really good for Rowan at the moment to pick up this race victory. With Kian in second, the oldest tyres of them all. I'm expecting quite a drop-off still by the end. And Marlon just going slightly wide there. Might have been lucky to escape a warning.
I wonder if Marlon's got a bit of damage here. Because he is through this middle sector,
yeah.
He's through the first sector split, and he's just lost 0.3 of a second coming through that. And normally when people do that, it's because they are losing time. I have a feeling it is right side end plate damage for Marlon. I can see a winglet missing on that right side end plate, and it's naked to the visible eye, but I can see that. I've got glasses on, and I can see that, I think, with right side end plate damage on Marlon's car. If the VAR team can confirm he's got damage, it might just put me at ease, but other than that, I can only think it's his tyres, because he's got absolutely no pace on those tyres, if that is the case. But the VAR man, regardless, is losing time. He's lost 6/7 of a second already this lap. Kian is using up all of that ERS as well, which might account for some of the time lost, but not all of it, because Kian has got zero ERS, and he's back within a second of Rowan once again, and it looks like it's these two for the race win.
Yes, of course it is. Just 2 more laps to go now as Rowan crosses the line for lap 24, and it looks like Marlon cannot even manage that 3-second gap to Kian ahead, so it's looking like a 3rd place finish, maybe only for VIR. It depends what he thinks, but definitely the damage that he looks to have picked up is really harming his progress here. So we've got Yossi still trying to make a move here now, down the inside, actually to the outside of VIR. Daniel into turn 1, who really outbrakes himself. But Yossi, yeah, he can just about manage to edge him out again, as we got GSP Chris now picking up those scraps as well.
And Daniel just about stayed in the race there, because I flicked on board with his camera, and that must have been about 6 inches apart from Chris and him in the wall. That was so close. honestly, so close. Marlon, 3.5 seconds. He must have damage on that car. As I say, I think it's right side end plate damage, if I'm not mistaken. Atlas saying as well, I think he has, but not sure. That's his comment coming from the VAR team. So if that is the case, Marlon there in third. I've got my mic stuck underneath my bed for some reason there. Rowan leads the way. Kian in second. Marlon there in third. It was my headset lead, if you were wondering what that fiddling was about. But Rowan leading the way. Kian in second has actually got 1% more than ERS at this stage. He's got DRS. This is not over and done with just yet, especially if Kian tries to get that 3-second penalty removed. It is the good old tale, Shazoo versus OP here in Jeddah. Final lap of the race. I'm excited for this one. PSGL F1 against PSGL F2. I don't care, we're on a different channel. But Kian, on the back of Rowan, has now suddenly picked up the pace.
Yeah, it's really hard up the hills there, as we've still got a battle going on at the back. Yossi still fighting off all these guys behind with the damage he's got. This is crazy scenes. They can manage to pull this off, but Chris is coming to the inside. Is he? No, he's just backing out of it. But yeah, still a big battle going on now through his middle sector. There shouldn't be too much, so we can go back to that front fight. And it looks like Rowan, at the moment, at least, at the moment, has made sure of it. With about 8, 9, maybe just over 10% ERS. But Kian, as you said, 1% more. Will it come in handy? That is the question. I honestly doubt it, but there still could be some little fraction of a mistake which could decide this race in any of the two drivers' favour.
Yeah, and 6.5 tenths. I've seen a driver come back from here before and win the race from this far back. So Kian has now got to put it all on the line. He's got to save up that ERS as well. Rowan, to be fair, is running very low wings. Oh, Kian nearly hits the wall on the left-hand side through 22. Just about scrapes it, but Rowan, I think, has now done enough to try and see off Kian. Shazoo against OP in this age-old battle of who's going to be one of the top teams on the PS platform coming to here in EML Premier 1. And it looks like Shazoo are going to come out on top. It's going to be 2 out of 2 for Shazoo. It was Jensen last week. It's now the WR Season 13 champion Rowan on the run to the line. Rowan takes the win in Jeddah for Shazoo. Kian in second. In the end will stay second because Marlon in the wall crashes his way across the line. He knows that. He knows he picked up damage late on. Robbie there in fourth. He's going to drop down as a result of penalties. He actually stays fifth in the end. Fezzle there in fourth. Robbie there in fifth. Fiery Hour there in sixth. Chris still fighting with Yossi on the run to the line. Nearly picks up a puncture run over a bit of front wing damage as well. He secures seventh. Yossi there in eighth. He will not be happy with that either. I'm certain that would have been higher if he kept his nose clean. Daniel there in ninth. Sided there in 10th. Looking through the rest of the field as well. Rick and Zara with penalties as well. Dropping down the field. Phoenix there in 16th. Phoenix gained 4 positions in the end of this race, mainly because of mistakes behind him. Bus Bramer and Benny on the run to the line, and Bus Bramer I think has got I thought he had a puncture, but he had a mistake at the final corner. Benny there 17th, Bus Bramer 18th, and unfortunately for NLR, they are picking up the wooden spoon tonight. Urpek there down in 19th, the former ET8 man of course, and Tapala coming across the line to finish in P20. My co-commentator now is probably going to be drowning his sorrows quite literally after that race, finishing there 19th and 20th position with Tapala right down the back of the field. But at least we had every single driver finish. We only had 1 safety car. We had a lot of drama in between. Fezzer, though, takes driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans. And that might just be one of my favourite commentaries around Jeddah, because that was, for most of it, very clean, very fair racing. Rowan to the top step of the podium. When it comes up on my screen, will, of course... will, of course, as you can tell with my voice, be top step of the podium, and it is Rowan nonchalantly walking to the top step of the podium, and now decides to do the walk like an Egyptian onto the top, and we'll get the champagne, we'll get the trophy as well from whoever that is giving the trophy. But Rowan takes the race win out on track. Shazoo 2 out of 2. Can anyone stop them, Alex?
It's certainly looking like an extremely strong challenge from Shazoo. It's an incredible result for Rowan, who's managed to fight off the pressure of Kian behind, relentlessly pushing that AlphaTauri all the way to the finish line, but it wasn't enough in the end. 2 Dutch drivers are topping the session with Rowan and Kian in 1 and 2. Marlon rounding up the podium for the VIR team. But if this race is anything to go by, and we've had Bahrain as well last week, I've said it last week as well already, but we are in for an absolute treat. I did not think I would say 20 finishers around Jeddah, but here we are. It was an incredible race, and I'm so happy to have been a part of this. So yeah, on to 8 more rounds, in fact, of this Esports Masters League Premier 1 Championship Season 4. This is going to be amazing.
It will be amazing. Rowan in the end out on top, also picks up the fastest lap as well, so Rowan takes an extra point with him. Kean there in second, Mal on third, Fezzo, Robbie, Fiery Hour, Chris, Yozzy, Daniel and Sali top 10. I'm not going to get to the end now, my Kinsix, Martin, Marcus Costa. We got at least down to 13th in the end as a result. Rowan and Marlon, by the way, if you can invite them in, we're going to get some interviews.
Ooh, okay, right. I'm going to quickly search for that.
I'm not
get
sure
both
if
of them in, actually.
Kian, I think, is not in the commentary box, if I'm not mistaken. Is not in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't tag him and I couldn't find him, so you can invite him in. Oh, and he's not online anymore, so that's why.
Okay, so I'm just gonna bring in Marlon and who was that again? Rowan. Rowan, yeah. I'm gonna quickly find him.
If you can, that would be absolutely fantastic. Looking through as well, I've just seen a comment from Anru from VIR in the Discord, which I've absolutely just seen. This commentator duo was too good, man. I wonder who he's on about.
You love to see it. You just love to see it.
he better not be on about Mike and Ivan, because I'll be having words with them afterwards.
Oh, I accidentally invited them into the session again. That's obviously not what I wanted to do. Hold up, I'm gonna sort this.
It's fine. He's getting used to his PS5, if you're wondering.
Yeah, yes.
It's
okay.
new to everyone. It is new to everyone. I could have added them easily, but yeah, I don't think my PS4 would be quick enough to invite them.
Yeah, the PS5 is incredibly fast, but I wouldn't say it's as quick as the drivers we've had today. Okay, I've got Marlon. Marlon has got an invite. I haven't got a request from Rowan, so I'm going to quickly send that manually.
I can invite him in if you want. You've got Rowan? Fantastic. I'm on blue screen, by the way, so that's why people can't hear Marlon or anyone at this stage. And yeah, Rowan has been added to the chat, so if you can join, that would be absolutely fantastic. And of course we will get interviews from the man in P1 and the man who's currently in P3 as well, Mr. Marlon, who is also alongside us in the commentary box right now. We will wait for Rowan for a minute. There we are. There he is, right on time. As soon as I mentioned, he heard my name. He heard his name being called. It is, of course, Shazoo Rowan. And Rowan, in the end, taking over from Jensen last week, was no firm object at all after that dominant performance from 1 and 2 in Bahrain. This might just top it, though, because that was not easy out on track.
No, it was not easy. The guys in front of me were very, very fast on the straight. But yeah, I had a good strategy to overcut the Red Bull, and it worked out. So yeah, it was just gaining some ERS and try to overtake him and push in the first sector. I knew I was faster there than the other guys, but yeah, it paid off for me.
It did pay off for you, indeed. And talk us through, obviously, we had the VSC in the race as well, but talk us through that pit stop. Because that pit stop, it was borderline you coming out side by side with Marlon coming out the pit lane.
Yeah, I wanted, my engineer told me to follow him, but I had a little bit ERS and I knew I had the DRS on the straight, so I wanted to push and be the guy on the best tires. And yeah, it worked out. It was really close with Marlon, but yeah, I kept in front of him. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, very happy indeed. Alex, coming across to you. Any questions?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have seen the scenes we've had on this stream because it was absolutely incredible from start to finish. But I suppose a question to both of you really, it must have been a super intense race. We only had one virtual safety car in these entire 25 laps. How did you feel across this entire distance, and just how difficult was it to keep up that push also without a time penalty as well? Starting with you, Rowan, first of all.
Yeah, you know, on this track it's you need to be focused all the time, especially in the first sector. If you turn in a bit too soon, you hit the wall, you got damaged, and your race is over. So it was pretty hard race. It's pretty hard to follow in the first sector, but yeah, if you get focused and still get focused on all the race, then yeah, it can be okay around here.
Thanks for that. And what about you, Marlon? How did you feel across this whole distance?
Yeah, it was a pretty intense race, and yeah, I got front wing damage twice, both exit turn 2. I hit the wall slightly, and yeah, had first of all a light green damage, and then orange one. That's why I had to back out so much. But yeah, at the moment nothing works really for me. I struggle really hard since this year. I don't know why. I have to sort it out. But yeah, still happy with P3. Good points for 4ER, and yeah, and qualifying was good, but did a Mick Schumacher impression in the last run.
Oh, that's not what you want to see, of course. But I mean, still, yeah, great effort from you to keep that on the podium, of course, with your damage, as you said. We have assumed it in that stream as well, but it was quite difficult to tell. Only the last phase it really become apparent. Yeah, still a very valiant effort.
Lap 20, 21, I guess, something like that. I don't know really. But yeah, Rowan and Kian had awesome pace as well. But I think the win was in there. But yeah, I have to sort my mistakes out. My time penalties, my spins, I don't know. PSGL Monday broke me as well. So yeah, I have to sort it out, and I hope I can come back stronger and win some races in the future.
I'm sure you will come back stronger. Thanks a lot from you, both of you, in fact. Yeah, James, anything from you still?
Nothing really from me. I mean, I know from Marlon's perspective, he'll be very frustrated at picking up P3 because I know it probably would have been a lot better. But Marlon, from your perspective, obviously that damage, it really affected you in those final few laps of the race. Because I spotted it, I think, lap 23, if I'm not mistaken. I spotted the damage, and I had a feeling it was right side end plate damage. But now you've confirmed it was both wings. It can't really get any worse than that.
No, the left side only.
Left side only?
Yeah. And yeah, in the first stint it was quite okay. I could keep up with Kian. I think I got it lap 7, lap 8 or something like that. And yeah, then the overcut for Rowan worked because me and Kian had I don't know, I want to let him pass, but he doesn't want to overtake me, and then yeah, we lost time. And that was exactly the the tens that cost me the P2. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, but as I say, you all drove very, very well. It was obviously very close towards the end of the race as well, but I will let you go and both enjoy your evening.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Thank you. You too. And thanks for comms.
You are very welcome indeed. It was a manic one. It was a manic one. I'm just going to put it like that. I think we both need a rest, certainly after that one in Jeddah. And I think we need to get maybe voice transplants for next week as well, after that absolutely unreal scenes that we saw in the mid-pack, certainly in the first half of that race. Of course, we do go from Saudi Arabia this week to Imola next week, back on the old terra firma, back on the old school F1 tracks as well, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And Imola, Alex, it is one of those tracks where drivers love it or hate it. I absolutely love to commentate all the history, all of the poise and the posture from F1. Imola is surely going to be one of the races, if not, dare I say it, race of the season.
I think it can be a candidate, because from a personal perspective as well, I've also got experience, of course, racing in Imola, and from my knowledge, while it may be one of probably the sweatiest tracks of racing, honestly, to keep up a rhythm is so important, but so difficult as well. Yeah, it is an incredible challenge for the drivers, and I'm really looking forward for this. Of course, only one DRS zone, so I think the strategy might decide a lot on that front. But yeah, Imola, an amazing track, just from the whole scenery as well already. But then the racing itself, if you get anything like today, we are going to be looking at a race of the season contender, like you said. It's going to be amazing, and the first 2 rounds, if they're anything to go by, we're going to be in for the best season possibly of EML ever.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if we get a similar race as what we did tonight, I'm going to be fleeing the country and running with my check, I think, after next week, if we get anything like similar of the scenes that we had in Jeddah, because that kept us on our toes, that kept us, honestly, right there, right in the mix, and hopefully you guys as well enjoyed that. I know you guys did, because I'm looking at the comment section. You can like, comment, subscribe, of course, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel as well. And unfortunately for me, I'm not sure if Alex is going to be joining me tomorrow, but unfortunately for me, certainly, TML F1 tomorrow, if you do want to tune in as well, around, it is not Saudi Arabia, it is, I think it's Imola, round 2 of the championship. Oh. And if I'm not mistaken as well, is it the first sprint race of the season? Dare I say it? Let's have a check. It is, it's the first sprint race of the season in Imola.
Now, sprint races in Imola, yeah, it's anything. It's really anyone's game there in such a sprint race, of course. Only a few laps to make up positions, to keep positions as well. Penalties are going to be really important to keep out. And certainly, TML, like EML, in that same kind of calendar rhythm, we're going to be in for a treat for sure. I am not sure, in fact, if I can make it tomorrow, but if I would, then, and if it's anything similar to today, I am very much in for it.
I am definitely up for it as well. Certainly, it's going to be very interesting to say the least, I think, tomorrow. TML F2 also live tomorrow, by the way, 8 PM UK time, and then on Friday it is TML F3. So if you do want to tune in for that, of course you can. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. I'm going to end it off here. Big thank you to Mr. Alex the G for joining me in the commentary box as well. Really hope you enjoyed it, as do you guys at home as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.